We're going to talk about the new features available in the Big Blue configuration utility. I've worked really hard to make it easy to maintain a complex list of games. And this basically means that you can have a single list that has games from multiple emulators in it, multiple programs, anything you want. And the whole idea is to make it pretty easy to get these things into Big Blue. I have an emulators section of the configuration utility now, and this basically lets you create emulator templates to add games from. You can see how I have templates for Kega Fusion, MAME rotated right for vertical games, and various mess things, and also SSF, the Sega Saturn emulator. And you can see what you can do with this. So I can create a template basically that has both pre-launch options, runs the main game, and then has post-launch options. So what's happening here in the configuration utility, for this emulator template, is that when I run a game using the template, first I'm going to run Magic ISO to mount the image of the game that I selected, and then I'm going to run the emulator. And then after I'm done playing the game in the emulator, it's going to run Magic ISO again, and it's going to unmount the image. So this is going to allow you to easily add multiple games that use emulators like SSF, where you actually have to have a drive mounted to run games. So we can see how this will actually work in practice. I'm going to go to my game list. I created a Sega Saturn list, but I'll just get rid of it and create a new one. So we'll call it Sega Saturn. I'm not going to bother choosing an image for now. And I'll go in here, edit the games in my Saturn list. So right now I have nothing. But I can easily just add games by saying that I want to enable bulk add, which means that I want to add multiple games or just one game, whatever. But I'm going to enable bulk add for this template, for the Sega Saturn template. So now when I drag this thing into the window, it just added the game, and now I have this. You can see what it did. It's using this template to run Magic ISO to mount the Estelle image, and then it's going to run SSF, and then after I'm done playing Estelle, it's going to unmount the image, and I'll be on my merry way. It also has this option to test your configuration here to see how it'll actually run in Big Blue. So we'll test it, and assuming everything went okay, we should see Estelle and all of that. So there we go, there's the Estelle full motion video intro. I can skip to the title screen here. And so it mounted the Estelle image. I'm playing the game. Now when I exit SSF, it's going to unmount the image and wipe it all away, and then I'm done. And now, if I select a different Saturn game from the front end, it's going to mount that game's image, run SSF, and then after I'm done playing, it's going to unmount the image. So there you go, seamless. You don't have to create any dumb scripts or do any arcane stuff to get this working. It's a generic solution. It'll work with any emulator, and it's only in Big Blue TM. And you can see the other things you can do here with the emulator template. So this was a Saturn template, but let's say that I want to add some games from MAME into this same game list. So I'm going to select the MAME rotated right template, go into a ROM folder here, and let's just say, even though these aren't Saturn games, just for the sake of the test, I'm just going to drag these games into the game list, and boom, I added these games. So now coexisting, I have Estelle and MAME games in the same list, and it was easy to do. And I have all kinds of options in here. I can do a multi-select sort on this stuff, move this stuff around, delete it, and do whatever I want with the list. So it's really easy to maintain your game list now. It's really easy to have a complex list of games and basically use any emulator you want to use. You don't have to be afraid of crappy emulators like SSF that actually require you to have image mounted on your computer or a disk in the machine or whatever. Okay, so we added that stuff. Now there's another new option I want to show you. Just because MAME is such a prominent emulator, it's kind of the emulator, and probably most of the games that you'll run in an arcade cabinet will be from MAME. I decided to support MAME's list XML, and so now I give you the ability to browse for your MAME exe, and then update MAME, and it'll basically pull in all of the information from MAME's list XML, and it'll let you add games to the list that you have selected from that. So here, because I was editing the Sega Saturn list, I'm seeing the games I have on my Sega Saturn list, and I'm seeing all the games in MAME, and now I can add games from MAME. What's really nice about this thing is that I can dynamically sort through all the games in MAME, and it'll show me all of these. I can say if I want to show the clones, or if I don't want to show the clones, don't show the clones. I can reset my filters and say, show me the games from 1972 to 1980, and then I have them all here. And then I can say, well, I only want vector games, so here's only the vector games. And then of the vector games, maybe I only want the ones that are, rotated, 270 degrees, and so there you go. It's really easy to find games in MAME, like I only want 6-player games. Well, of course, there are no 6-player games that are rotated 270, but if I get rid of that, there I see the only 6-player games that aren't clones. If I enable clones, I'll see, X-Men 6P and so on. So basically, you can just really blow through this now and easily add games. So let's say I really want X-Men 6P in my, list here. I can just select this, drag it into my list, and it's going to tell me that you got to select a template. So I'll say, because X-Men's a horizontal game, I'm going to just pick my standard MAME template, and then I'll just drop these guys in here, and now, boom, I have these 2 X-Men games in my list. So it's really easy to add games from MAME now. It's really easy to find different games in MAME. It's never been this easy and powerful, and so you can go wild with this stuff. So let's see one more feature that we added here, and then we'll go look at the front end itself. So I added a migration feature, and basically what this lets you do is, let's say that you're setting up all of your front end games on your main desktop, but then you're going to move all this stuff to the computer that's actually going to be in your arcade cabinet. Well, this gives you the ability to basically, set up all your lists and everything on a computer, but then to say, okay, I picked one directory for all my files on one computer, but now on my actual arcade cabinet machine, it's going to be in a different folder. You can basically just select 2 directories, and you can either migrate all values or just select specific values like the thumbnail image or like the location of the the directory of the program that runs or whatever, and you can just move everything. So let's just say, for example, on my desktop PC, I have all my ROMs in D ROMs, but then on my arcade cabinet, everything is in C ROMs. I could just do something like this, and move all that stuff, there, and then just migrate, and then it's just going to change all that information for me. So that lets me migrate stuff easily. Although note that Big Blue also supports relative paths. So if you keep your paths relative when you're maintaining your entries there, you can also do it that way. You could just put everything in folders relative to where the front end binary is. So it just depends on how you want to do it. Okay, so that's an update to the game list. Let's launch it and see how it actually looks. So here's my default list. It's loading, but I'm going to go back to my list of categories here, and you can see that we have Sega Saturn that we added, and see the stuff that I put in there is all in there, easy. And it's very easy to configure this stuff now. So we might as well end this video in the spirit of Big Blue, with violence and explosions. So another change that I made here is that the default exit sequence for Big Blue, even exiting from the desktop, is now the nice building sequence here. Oh, baby, that's fresh. That punch really puts the button on it, doesn't it? Okay, so it's really easy to configure Big Blue now. This is more powerful than anything you're going to get in any other front end. Other front ends can barely even manage supporting emulators besides MAME. So, what can I say? Big Blue, the best emulator in the world.